from Hillside. As soon as you cross under that bridge, you can't miss it. Please come and join. But let's get to the meat of some things here. We're gonna
Amen.
get ready and talk about the violence here in Chicago, and I want us to talk about it because somewhere along the line we dropped the ball.
Amen.
We dropped the ball, and no one wants to be accountable or take responsibility for dropping the ball. They just seem to want to place the finger on the criminal and or the criminal mind or state of mind the person is in. But how did they get there? Where did we drop the ball at? How did we fail? Where did the system fail at? Where did our churches fail at? Where did we as um, community and neighbors fail at?
Yes.
Where did we go wrong? Because we did go wrong. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm not going to say did we go wrong. No, we went wrong. We did a left turn and we forgot all about the bleeding hearts that were still in our communities, and we act as though they were not there. So we're going to talk about that today, and Pastor Tracy is going to help me weigh in on this subject because it's something that pressed both of us, and
Yes.
we thought that it was going to be a great topic that we discussed for you guys to chew on, to get some juicy fat flowing in our minds. And let's discuss it. How did we drop the ball? Think of a couple of things that we dropped the ball at. Hey, Monique.
I feel that we should start with our parenting. I think
Excellent.
that's a subject that we should we should just tap on. And don't get me wrong, all of it is not the parents' fault, but somewhere down the line, it starts at the beginning. Nothing never starts in the middle. It starts somewhere at the beginning. Even I look at it as us raising our kids,
Yes.
helping them and teaching them to make the right decisions. I was reading in Proverbs, the 22nd chapter. It says, "Raise a child up in the
Where
way
they should go.
that they should go, and they
Yes.
would, if they stray, they will
When turn,
return."
they will.
So I think that when I read that and I think about that, we should be teaching our kids on how to make decisions and make the right decisions.
That's right.
So I think it started there. We let them get too loose.
We did.
We can't watch everything that they do, but we should just be mindful. If you see change in your child, then address it.
I I am in a total agreement with you. The parenting styles went away. Parenting, we became friends
Yes.
and instead of parents. And
Yes.
I believe that's where we went wrong at. It's okay to be friendly with your child, but you
I
cannot be
agree.
your child's friend.
I agree.
And that's where we went wrong at. We got so liberal and so loose, as you use the word loose, and
Yes.
so relaxed with our children that the defining line
Yes.
is not in the sand. It's not drawn in the sand. We knew the defining line. We
Yes.
can look at our parents could look at us and we knew to straighten up.
Yes.
Now it's a verbal gymnastic
Uh-huh.
conversation that goes back and forth between parent and child.
Yes.
And it's starting now from 3 years old.
Yes.
And so I'm not understanding how we are allowing our children to become so boisterous. It's okay for them to have an opinion, but it's a respectful tone. It's what you're discussing, and if you're laying the law down, it's no discussion.
Right.
You putting the law down.
Well, let me also throw this in
Oh,
there.
okay. Wait one
Dr.
second. We got Monique. We have a comment here. Families on, and you check your live. Make sure you're not getting comments. Families are so divided. We don't help each other like we used to. Amen. And when
That's the truth.
when we were like we were growing up. That's exactly,
Exactly.
that is
So
the
where did
exact
the
truth.
division start at?
Yeah.
We got to look at that. Where did the
Yeah.
division
I
start
think we
at?
got selfish. I think it was all about me, 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 me.
Yes.
Us, us, us. I'm
Mhm.
not worried about anybody but my
me,
family.
yes.
And long
Mhm.
as my family is
Yes.
good, then we're good.
Yes.
But you have to realize if three families down the street are not good, those are the three. Maybe two of the families are going to start to create trouble. The children,
Yes.
and then it becomes a ripple effect because guess what? That spoiled apple can spoil a
Spoil all
bunch.
the rest
You
of
can
them,
catch a
yes.
couple of good kids, and you can stray them away,
Yes.
and that begins a cycle. And then if we're not parenting, how do we do this? And then you have the single parent homes where some parents are working and they can't be there all the time. And so the kids have idle time. And we were young, they put us in programs.
Yes.
And then libraries.
I thought about, we even had a big mama on the block.
That's right.
Where even when the parents wasn't around, then there was big mama, saying, hey, get there, do this. And then also, I want to address the fathers.
Yes.
We need the dads in their place. That plays a big factor in the home, especially for our young men.
I understand that wholeheartedly. And when we were growing up, there were so many young men that may not have had fathers, but there were so many strong men in the community that fathered.
Yes.
And so we didn't even recognize the fatherless sons, because guess what? The fathers in the community were so strong, and they made sure they were organized sports. They made sure that the other young men blended in with the other kids. They were able to chastise. The mothers were grateful. You didn't have, hey, Jody, you didn't have people running around saying, don't say this to my child, and don't you bet not. Now the parents want to come and fight with the children and put it on live, and we got to watch a whole family squabble. And so the raising have went out the window, and we have to come back to our senses and say, our children are out of control. We got into that thing. I'm going to give my kids the things that I didn't have, and I'm going to do this. That's fine.
Yeah.
But it comes with discipline. It comes with structure.
And I think that the material thing, the material things have played a big part.
Yes.
That caused a lot of destruction too, because we are raising our kids on all of the materialistic things. So, that's, like you said, I like the point that you said. Well, if we're going to give them this, did they work for it? What did they earn?
How did they earn it?
Yeah.
How did they earn it?
Did they do their chores? We have, I often say that we have left our landmark. What do I mean about that? We strayed away from what
our roots.
Yeah.
Our roots.
Yeah.
And it was our culture.
Yeah.
It was our culture to be community, and we left community.
Yes.
We left the neighbor out of neighborhood, and we don't know how to be neighbors anymore. We don't know what it is. We can live in a neighborhood 20 years and don't know don't even know four neighbors.
Yes. That's
true. And back in the day, every neighbor knew everyone, and we watched each other homes. There were no break-ins, there were no security breaches, there were no things of that nature. So we want to be able to make sure that we have some sense of sight on our community and some networking. The mothers used to get together and talk about some, planned activities. Fathers, we just don't do that. So we drop the ball with parenting, definitely. And also politicians in our community. I think they dropped the ball because they had more free programs for our children. And with the economic times and things prices are going up and things of that nature, we have to be mindful that fees and the costs that they're trying to attach to these programs, which were free for us. The parents can't afford this because of all of the expenses from home. So they're going to have to start giving waivers out. They're going to have to start allowing these children to come free. Now, a lot of people don't know that the park district do give waivers when they have those high prices on there. If you are low income and you cannot afford it, a letter accompanied by the parent, and if the child needs to get off the street, they will allow that child to come into the program. So parents need to be mindful of that. In the city of Chicago, I'm not sure about the other cities and townships, but I know about Chicago. This park does it all the time. She don't like to see it.
Yeah, we do have a lot of free programs out here, but I just feel that we need more work, Doc, in our community.
I think so.
We're not getting out. We're not trying to do things within the community.
Outreach.
And the one thing that bothers me is the quietness in the community. If I see something, I often would say, oh, that's not my business, it's not
Yes.
at my door.
Yes.
But then the minute that it's at your door, then you want some reaching out.
Yeah.
What do we do for the community? How do we rebuild our
Yes.
community?
Yes. We have to get out there. We have to be vigilant. We have to walk the streets. We have to, we used to walk the streets. We used to let people know that it's not okay to be right here. You can't sell drugs on the church steps. You can't sell drugs in front of the school. You can't, you can't hustle, whatever hustle it is, it's certain places that they had to go. It was like they had to have their own little block to do what they had to do. And we knew the blocks not to go down because it was not in our community. Now it's right at our doorsteps, or it's right around the corner, or it's right up the street, or right across the street.
Yes.
And we have to figure out where and how do we get back to taking our streets back. And we have to do it collectively. This is not going to be just a one sector, one sector call. It's going to have to be community, politicians, church. It's going to have to be a group of things. And another thing, since I mentioned church, we've dropped the ball as Christians.
I totally agree. I am so glad that you brought that up, because my ministry is the young people, is the street. We get saved and we forget about those that are left behind, but God has called me back to the street. So I'm just so glad that you touched on that, because what do we do as leaders in the church? Why is it that we stay behind the four walls and don't want to come out? We don't come out. We don't minister to them.
That's right.
We don't say anything to them. We ride past, or even if some of us walk past, Doc, we hold our purse and quenching, and
these
are our brothers
and even judging, and we should know better about judging. We should know better about judging, and for some reason it has just went out the window with us. We look at these people, we turn our nose or pretend like we don't see them, and we should have a day in a month or 2 days, 2 weekends in a month that we go out and we minister to those that's out there, that we're vigilant. It's a 5 churches on every block almost. And out of all of that, if 2 people decided to take 2 Saturdays, we should be flooding the street. And people look at Jehovah's Witnesses like they crazy. No, they witnesses. Don't knock on my door. You don't knock on my door. Don't knock on my door. But we should be witnesses of Christ. We should be out there. That's right. We should be witnesses of Christ, and we should be out there trying to mend the broken, trying to pray for the sick, trying to see what's wrong with the mentally ill. Because they've cut the programs for the mentally ill. They've cut so many things for the homeless. They've shut down so many programs for education. They shut, seniors are suffering. So we should be checking on them in cold weather. We should be doing those things, not just people in our church family community, but the community that our church is surrounded in. That is our calling. That is our community. Where you build our church, what did he say? When you build your church on the solid ground, that is yours. That is your So that piece of land around it should be considered yours. So you should be out there ministering instead of behind the pulpit, then in the four walls,
come out
preaching and singing and praying and doing all these things, and then we go home and no one has touched anybody that was just standing across the street.
On, Jesus,
just coming across the street.
You are so right. And that is such that's a tender point for me, because that's my ministry. That's my heart desire. I don't look at our young men and say, oh, that's not my business. Well, when I look at them, those are our next leaders. Those are our next pastors, whatever. That can even be our next president that just need a helping hand. But I often say, like you say, you cannot just do it by yourself. If it's just 2 of us.
And you said something great. You said that could be our next president. Remember, President Obama was homeless at one point. In a car. So you all have to man, we have to do better.
Yes.
We have to do better. If you want to call in, the number is 708-223-8953. For any questions, any comments, you can call in at 708-223-8953. And another thing, our seniors are not safe anymore. The women are not safe anymore. The children are not safe anymore. All of those things were taboo.
Yes.
And now it is common. I watched the news yesterday where, what was it, 3 or 4 men attacked a woman with her bags.
Yes.
Just drug her down, flipped her over, did all these different things to her. And it's common to them. It's not,
and everybody look at it and it's like, oh, that happened on set, and it's okay.
And it's okay. We have become numb. We have become, we really have immune to violence because it has been such a plague now. And everyone wants to know what can be done. What can we do? Well, we have to go back to what we know. And when they talk about gangs, when they thought they were locking up all of these leaders for the best cause, what they did was cause the spillover to be just what it is, unorganized. These kids are out here doing whatever they want to do. They have nobody to answer to. They don't respect authority. They don't respect policemen. They feel they have more guns and more power than they do. And in actuality, is more in number of them. They just not organized enough, and they do have the same weapons and sometimes military weapons. They have bulletproof vests. They have helmets. They have the whole thing that they have, and they don't care about dying. They don't care. It's street cred, and they don't
thought
fear
about
it.
that. And when I look at it, and I say, I say, God, why is it that they have that spirit of they're not scared to die?
They're not afraid.
They're not afraid.
And they're not afraid where their soul goes. That is what's the deepest thing for me. We have a call in. I'm sorry, I didn't. You should pull that down. I got you. Hi, caller. How are you? Where are you calling from? Oh. Did I hit it? You see it? Hello? Hi, caller. How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
We're well.
How are you?
So, do you want to leave your name?
Yes, this is Gabby.
Hi, Gabby.
Hi. I'm friends with Tracy.
Yes.
And we're together. So I have a question. I actually kind of jumped in just now, but I was wondering, you guys could probably talk about how, coming from a youth perspective, how do we as youth who are believers correctly interact with people who aren't necessarily in the faith and are potentially causing the uproar and the violence that's in the streets? But how do we also show them the love of Christ, but also point them to a better way of life?
Really good.
I really love your question. Well, being a youth, youths, you can't be pushy.
Yes.
So we can't overshadow it, but you drop it. You drop the love like little drops, like little dewdrops. You drop it in, you bring it in slowly. You begin to talk to those that's around you. You build that trust. You build that relationship with the people that you're trying to minister to. You know what I mean? Because that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be ministering to them when you're giving them giving them Christ. That's you're ministering, you're evangelizing, you're ministering to them.
And I think, Doc, too, that when they see your light shining, Gabby, when they see your light shining and see, like she said, you got to give them just little drops, but eventually what's inside of you is going to pour over in them. You don't have to beat them up, like Doc said. You don't have to keep doing that, just a little, and eventually, you'll be like, oh my God,
you'll see the transformation.
Yes.
You'll see the transformation. Trust me. I started young doing the same thing, talking and ministering to my friends and wanting them to see the way, wanting them to know that it's real. Christ is real, but I wasn't pushy with it. I had conversations, having generalized conversations. When you have generalized conversations, it just doesn't have to be about the world, but it can be something as simple as, you said, I am so glad that God got me through this,
Yes.
relationship, because
Testimonies.
without him, I know I would not have gotten through this. It's certain things that that you could not have made it through, that only God did, because you're a Christian. And when you're talking to your friends, you can say that with conviction, and they'll be like, really? And they'll look at you, and then you'll begin to talk a little more, so you just drop little nuggets. When you're dropping those little nuggets, I promise you, they're picking them up.
Amen.
They're picking them up. So you don't have to be pushing. Then when they're ready, they're gonna come to you. They're gonna start, and then you invite them to church, family and friends day, things like that. If you're speaking, or you is a youth pastor in, and you wanting to hear, like, girl, come go with me, or God, your bro, come go with me. Whatever, endearment that you call your friends, you ask them to join you on those special days. If it's a youth explosion, whatever, ask them to join you on those days, and they'll enjoy that.
And keep Gabby just ministering to them little by little. Just keep letting your light shine.
Did we help you, Gabby?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Amen.
You're more than welcome. Thank you for calling in, and keep tuning in. And
bless you guys.
Bless you. Thank you, Gabby.
Bye.
Amen.
Amen. She had a wonderful question. And when you're talking to your youth, when youth talk to other youth, they tend to listen to each other more. Because it's not coming from an authoritative figure.
Yes.
Hi, thanks for calling Chewing the Fat. How can I help you?
Hi. So I had a question. I was watching the live.
Okay. And your name?
My name is L.A.
Hi, Miss L.A.
Hi. I'm a member of Pastor Walker's New Generation on the Rise.
All right. Amen.
And I had a question. I wanted to know, why do you all think that now is more violence than 5-10 years ago? Back in the day, they used to get out there and fist fight, but now they're going to guns and weapons. Do you think it's more of pride of maybe not winning a fight? They feel like they need to go get weapons.
Well, they really don't know how to fight anymore. I'm gonna just be honest with you. These little kids don't know how to fight. We really knew how to defend ourselves. And when we were being raised, we knew that if we fought, we come back another day and we're alive. And guess what? Some of us have maintained friendships for years.
After the fight.
My first body slam was a boy, and he and I call each other sister and brother. Right now today, his sister is actually my best friend. So it's hilarious, So, but another thing is music, movies, all of those things have been programmed into these young men, and and now women, because the women want the street cred as well.
Yes.
So it has been programmed and simulated into them that this is how we should be. The more the more bodies drop, the bigger stripes I get.
I think dark pride too.
Pride. Oh yeah, pride and ego. Pride and ego.
Yes.
I can't look like a punk.
Yeah,
you're not gonna punk me out in front of everyone, and you're not gonna do this. And even when we had pride, it still was, let's fight. It wasn't about, I will blow your head off in front of your kids, and then I'm gonna kill the girl that's in the car who's pregnant by you, and all of that. See, it has come to be more heinous and more evil, and the thought of the way that the times has changed, everything has become more wicked.
Yes.
And the Bible tells us that in the last days it's gonna get a little more wicked than what it was in Revelation. When we read Revelation, you see as the seals get broken, what happens.
Yes.
So we are unleashing some things because of our disobedience.
Amen.
And our disobedience come with our parenting skills, with the politics, with everything. So we have to look at it. If we're looking at it under a Christian eye, some of things come from our disobedience and the way that we have strayed away from the word. And we're looking at it in a moral perspective. We have strayed away from our parenting skills. We have strayed away from raising our children with ethics and morals and all of those different things. We haven't sat down and showed our kids how to fist fight, all of those different things, and tell them you'll live another day. You can turn your cheek. It's not always about meat and, blood to blood. We don't teach our kids those things anymore. It's about telling your kids, you better go back out there and do woo, 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 woo.
Yes, and going with them.
And going
Some
with them.
parents are going
And
with
giving them guns.
Yes.
Giving them guns,
Yes.
going with them. And the ages of the parents change. You have to remember that. We had the crack generation that came. You had grandparents raising the children. Now, those children have, when the grandparents got tired or passed away, those children had children.
Yes.
And those children raised those children
Mm.
with their mindset.
Set.
And now these are the children that we're left,
The new generation. Yes.
So these are the ones that's running around that don't have the structure, who don't have the mental capacity to know how to really love, because they didn't really have love,
Yes.
and the nurturing and the environment and all of
Yes,
those
that
great
is so
things that they
true.
should have had.
Yes.
And so we have to step back and say, we are accountable for some of this.
Yes,
And
we are.
even when we saw some of our parents doing wrong, at some place, somebody in the community should have stepped up and say, come here. Like my mom, she used to, any little girl that was, hair wasn't done, they clothes wasn't right. If they were done, she would help. She would bathe them. She would press their hair, wash it, send them home, all of that. So she had all of these little kids, and so did my father, So we have to go back to being parents, not just parents for ourselves, but community parents.
Yes,
that is so where true. We, I couldn't come off the porch. They knew I couldn't go around a certain corner. And one day I tried to duck around a corner, and the lady in the building said, hey, your mother don't want you around that corner. Get back around there. Yes. So, and I knew she would tell. Mm-hmm. So there it is. We have another caller. Did we answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
All right.
Parents, not just parents for ourselves, but community parents. Yes. So when
Okay. We'll try that caller back. The caller may call back. And Pastor Tracy, at any time, please weigh in.
Yes.
With the callers. Please weigh in.
I love the questions that they're calling, asking. And guys, call in. Let us be a help, to you guys, because we're getting some understanding. Me and Dr. Shonda have talked about this, and we're just trying to see, what can we do? Give us some ideas. Call in and give us some ideas. What can we do to help? The number is 708-223-8953. I want to know, as a pastor, as a leader, what can I do to help make the community better? Another caller. All right.
Hi, caller. Thanks for calling Chewing the Fat. What's your name?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Thanks for calling Chewing the Fat.
Yes, I was calling in on Tracy, Pastor Tracy's auntie.
Cut your radio down or your TV. Something's in the background drowning you out.
Okay. I'm turning the TV down. And then I got them on live and I'm on another phone.
Okay.
Because I couldn't call on my phone.
All right.
Okay. Hi, thanks for calling Showing the Fat. Hi, yes. That's my niece right there.
Okay, did you cut it down yet? We're ready for you.
Yes, I did. I still got to.
Give us your question.
Okay.
Go with your question.
Well, my name is Sharice, and I'm Pastor Tracy's auntie. And I have a young grandson out there, and everything. And I think he's hang with the wrong crowd. And I just wanted some suggestions to try to let him see the people that they are, and so he won't have to be around them. He can easily cut them loose.
Well, I think Pastor Tracy wanted me to answer this for you, but okay. my suggestion to you is to try to bring him into another environment. If you bring him around positive young men who are doing some things, maybe put him into a program where you have find out his interests, his hobbies. What do he like to do? Because it's something that everyone like to do or dabble with. Let's find out what that is. What is it that he really wants to do? And let's find out what that is, and then try to steer him there. Do you know if do he like art? Do he like, dabbling with electronics? Do what is it that he like to do? And then try to find a place to take him around some positive young men, get him in those big brother programs, get him in some things like that, where he can see some other young men coming from where he walked, but yet getting stronger. I know that they're the Safeway. Safer Foundation has a young men program. Lundale Christian has a program too for young men, and you're right by there. What I will do, since you're Pastor Tracy's aunt, I'll give her a number to a young man named Patrick Daniels, and he would help you so much with getting that young man on track. He's awesome when it comes to young men, and I can give you him as a mentor for your son, your grandson, so we can get him straightened out. You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome.
So much. Would you like to take down my number?
I will, but I don't have a pen handy, but Pastor Tracy will definitely give it to me, she said. And so we can stay in contact, and I'll make sure that you get that information, and that we can get your grandson on a better track. Because we want to say, if we save one, that's a blessing. Yes. So, I take that.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome. And thank you for calling in with the concern of your grandson, because that's what we need. More concerned parents, more concerned grandparents, people who are concerned about the well-being of their child, not giving up. Never give up. That's my thing. Never, ever give up. Always see the greatness in your child.
I will. And thank you for encouraging more.
Yes. And I'll be praying for you guys as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a blessed one.
You too.
So you are having your people are really great. Oh, here you go. You off the chain again, Pastor. Thank you for calling Chewing the Fat. What's your name, caller?
My name is Devante Strickland.
Hi, Mr. Strickland. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good.
I'm calling to let my mother know that I'm proud of her.
Aww.
That I appreciate everything that she has done, and the situation that I just experienced on my way to my mother's house on the red line. It just had her voice just replaying over in my head, let me know that I'm covered and keep it moving, because these guys just jumped on the train, man, just because he didn't let them on free. And I'm like looking, and I wanted to like help him so bad, because he was an older guy. My mama just kept replaying in my head, boy, you keep it moving. You stay away from that. You covered by the blood of Jesus. You okay? You get on to this house. And off that, I just kept it moving. You know what I'm saying? His head was busted. His nose was bleeding. And they had no reason to do that. You know what I'm saying?
And I see that weigh on you heavy. Yeah, it's weighed on them heavy. Yeah, and the violence in the street, and I see it's still on your mind. And because of your kind heart, you really hated to see that.
Yeah, I really did. And, I just, my mama was just, in my mind, you better than that. You keep it moving. God got that old man, and I just pray.
So, Devante, what do you do? What do you think that we can do as leaders to help the young generation, those that are still out there? Can you just take a couple of seconds so we can let the next caller come in and just tell us from your experience, what do you think that we can do to help pull the young generation in?
One thing that I feel that they need, and myself, as far as, because I'm still a part of this young generation, just the support, and just the right men in our life to send us down the right path, because everybody didn't have their father, but it is some good guys out here. Like I just listened to the live, and she spoke about a guy named Patrick, and I'm ready to get his number and get to know him, because just off of what I just seen, it's just like, it really is time for a change.
But Devante, you can definitely have his number. And yeah, it is. And what I love about him, when he find young men, he set them up with jobs. He really go the distance. He goes the distance, and he's committed. He's committed to the call. So, and to the cause of change, because guess what? He walked where you guys walked and changed his life. And now you should see him. I mean, God has blessed him tremendously because he freed himself. When you free yourself from bondage, the liberty
Yes,
that
come
you
on, God.
have
Yes.
is unstoppable. It's unstoppable. Donald Shake Sanders said, our brothers and sisters need to listen to their elders. They lost respect for their elders. When we were growing up, we used to know how to, when we were growing up, we knew not to disrespect our
Yes.
elders.
Yes.
We must teach our youth to learn how to respect. Got a little more here.
Mhm.
How to respect. Let's see. I lost it. Yeah, obtain resources for our communities and other than drugs. Yeah.
That
We
is
have to,
good.
man,
That is
Donald
good.
Sanders, that was big.
Yes.
We need other resources. Everyone, I say this all the time, everyone is not a college student, but they can have a trade.
Yes.
And it pays just as much as a college student.
student.
You can be an electrician, a carpenter, a chef, what the seamstress. It's endless. The possibilities are endless, and you can make yourself an entrepreneur. You can be whom you want to be, but find your passion. That's why I always say, live your life on purpose and live your life with purpose. You know, because once you find your purpose, your destiny is yours. Nobody can take it from you. And so that's what I want to share with you. And I would definitely make sure, Devante, your mom gets, I'm going to give her the number. So, and then I'm going to call Patrick and let him know the two young men will be contacting him. I would definitely do that.
Okay.
And thank you for calling.
And thank you. And you can call me too. Your mom has my number. And so anything that you need to discuss and talk about is confidential. It will be between us. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
well,
you
we
for
gotta
calling
start
in.
believing in these young brothers. They need us to believe in them.
That's right. That's right.
good.
And that's the honest, you just said it. They need somebody to believe in them, somebody to love them, somebody to nurture them. That's all they need. Somebody to believe in
And
them
to show
and
them
to
the way.
show them the
Come
way.
on,
Once you
yes.
believe in them, then you show them.
Yes.
You can't just believe in them and leave them there,
Come
but you
on,
got to
now you
show them.
talking. Yes.
You got to show them a clear path.
Yes.
And once they get some clarity, then they can make their way.
Yes.
It's like the Bible
nurturing
says,
them.
teach a man to fish,
Yes, and he'll never forget
and
how
he'll
to
never
fish.
But if I feed him, keep giving him the fish, he ain't gonna eat too many
Yes.
days, because I'm not gonna keep giving him my fish. I'm gonna just tell you. But you gotta learn how to fish. You gotta
Yes.
learn how to fish, and that's what it is.
And encouragement.
Encouragement. You have to. Oh, great,
Yes,
great, Tracy.
You have to. And I feel that our Black men are not encouraged enough.
Say it again, Pastor.
I made a statement the other night. Why is it that the church is so filled with just women? Are we praying for our young men? Are we praying for our men, period? So we need to encourage them. We need to pray for them. Sometimes a brother just need a hug. Just walk up and say, hey, brother, how you doing today?
Yes.
Just letting them know that it is going to be okay. We need to do that, not just us women, just period. If there's another brother that could lift another brother, lift that brother. You may change their life.
Yes. And especially when you're a young man who found their way.
Yes.
If you found your way, reach back and pull another young man up so they can find their way. You have a comment on your line, Pastor?
It's funny that y'all said that.
Yes,
about the hood,
you can call in.
like
I have a TT Spencer on here. She wants to call in. Yes, you can. That number is 708-223-8953. Go ahead, Devante, and Doc gonna take another call.
What's her name? TT Spencer?
Yes.
The lady, no, it was somebody on the line, on our feed. No, my name is Dr. Harris.
Yeah, Dr. Harris.
Somebody say on the line, that's one of my love.
Okay, well, we gonna take their call.
Y'all get her too and talk to her, and I love y'all. You doing good?
Oh,
amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen.
Okay, so guys, you guys can still call in and ask Dr. Harris send me questions. That number again is 708-223-8953. And guys, she's open.
Hey,
Even
April.
if you just need some resources, she's open to answer anything that, she has the knowledge of. We're open. And anything you guys think that we might can do better to help the young generation. My passion, I found out, was her passion. Doctor wanted to know, what can we do? Where did we drop the ball at? So guys, call in and just let us know what hinders you.
708-223-8953. Again, the number is 708-223-8953. We have a few minutes left, and we want you guys to call on in with your questions. Come on in. But the callers are calling in with some really great questions or weighing in with some great comments. And this is real. This is real. And this is what begins the healing process and the recovery process.
Okay.
And that's what we want to do. We want to find out, especially when our youth the youth is calling in.
Yeah.
And the youth want to be repaired.
Mm-hmm.
And they all do.
Yes.
That's why I say when we come out of those four walls, if we come out of our doors, this is what we will get.
Mm-hmm.
The cries of our youth to say, where can we go? What can we do? How can I change? I need to feed my family.
Yes.
I need to help me. Can you show me some resources? Where can we go? And stop when they go to jail, the X's that becomes on their back. You got to erase that. Jail was supposed to be a reform. So if it's a reform, that's a reset.
Another good subject.
It's a reset.
Yes.
So allow them to find. They don't do it.
Yes.
They don't do it. But it's supposed to be a reset button, so you can go back into society as a regular person and be able to start your life over again in a healthy way,
right.
And be able to do it, but they're not allowing them to do it.
To me, that's just a recycle. So, they let them out, and I said this at a meeting I was at, what do they do once you let them out the gate? Okay, you're saying the resources is there, but I like the point that you said sometimes they just need a little help. Don't just keep feeding them the fish, teach them how to fish. So that's another whole good subject,
because sometimes I see the young men who just get out, they go down to the alderman office, they hand them a sheet of paper, and they say, well, these are some of the places that's doing this. But when they go there, either they have an X on their back, either they have this going on, they're filled up, they're this, and so they get discouraged.
Yes.
And so then they go back and they give them another sheet of paper or the same sheet of paper. And so
until they just don't come back.
Until they just don't come back. And that allows them to go back to the same cycle of what they just left. April Shannon says people have to first admit that they need help or that they want to be helped.
Yes.
No one. Okay, here we go. It just disconnected. No one person can solve this problem. It would take entire community. Midwest have to be changed. Mindsets have to be changed. You're exactly right. And that's what I said. And it's more than the community. It's going to be community, church, politicians, everything. It's going to be a collective. It has to be a collective force.
Yes.
It's going to be a collective force to make this change. Like, a mayor can't get in and make this change. I
think if one person just stand up, one strong person
that in the cabinet.
Because let me say this to you, I have went to the church and asked them if they would go in the neighborhoods with me to just pray, or even just walk up and pray for these young men. Nobody wanted to go.
That's sad. That's really sad, and I say it's sad because they lost their way. They lost their way, and they say they're Christians.
Yes.
So I don't know if they felt convicted by not showing up, because they should have felt convicted, because that's part of you being a Christian.
Yes.
So when someone gives you an assignment, it's up to you to accept the assignment. And if you choose not to accept that assignment, it's almost like a 007.
But
it's going to explode.
Should be doing anyway, though.
That's what I'm saying. So it's an assignment. We're supposed to be doing it. This is our assignment from him.
Yes.
So we are choosing not to take the assignment. And so we all have a judgment. So that's why I tell people you can go to church every single Sunday and go to hell.
Yes.
It does not matter that you're doing this routine.
Because that's
just a routine.
Yes.
You can fall out, run into the wall, bust your head, speak in tongue, all of that. But if your heart is not set in the right motion and your soul is not for him, then Dalmatian.
That's so true.
So
that's the word. Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's like you are rejecting the assignments that's given to you, but you read the Bible for the parts that you want it to fit for you.
Yes,
and feel good to you. So it's not always comfortable on our Christian walk.
Amen.
We're gonna have some uncomfortable spaces.
Yes.
So if you're uncomfortable walking the street, you're gonna learn to get uncomfortable because you got to walk them more.
Yeah.
And it's your community. It's your community.
And you should care.
It's your church community and it's your home community. But we're about to wind up and wind down. So your last comments, if you have any, you have about 1 minute to give it, and we're about to shut down on Chewing the Fat. So if you need to call in, the number is 708-223-8953. And if you have a comment to leave on any one of our feeds, please do so with Pastor Tracy Walker and New Generation Ministries.
Yes.
I got it right. Yes. And so, and please tell us about your live before you go. Please tell us about your live. So if anyone want to tune into your live.
I'm on Facebook Live every night. I pray for the universe. I pray for the young generation every night, 7:30, 8 o'clock. That's my assignment. I get on there. I pray. I ask God to cover them. My church is New Generation on the Rise. I'm at 5122 West Division. I'm there every third Sunday and every fourth Sunday. But other than that, I'm teaching the Word of God the first and second Sunday live. I go on there and it's all for the young generation. It's not that they don't want to. They just don't know how.
And so how do they do it under your Facebook? Yeah, Pastor Tracy Walker?
Tracy Walker.
It's Tracy Walker.
Tracy Walker. Send me a friend request. I will accept it. Anything you guys want me to pray about, take to the throne of grace, reach out to me. I am for the new generation. Amen.
Amen. For the new generation. I like that. For the new generation. I mean, recovery.
Yes.
Renewal, restore. So I'm going to do this one more time. So I want to remind you guys about the holiday pop-up shop on Saturday, December 1st from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Fashion, clothes, purses, Tupperware, tea crafts, wigs, glam t-shirts, jewelry and accessories, specialty items, and much, much more. Empower your business. Interactive seminar. We all need to know how to build our brands and build our purpose correctly. There will be food, fun, music, and prizes. 160 West Roosevelt Road, Westchester, Illinois, 2nd floor in the State Farm building. Please don't miss this pop-up shop. You guys live life on purpose. Live life with purpose. For without purpose, what's your intent? I love you guys from Chewing the Fat. Thank you, Pastor Tracy, for joining me.
Having me.
You were a wonderful guest, very informative. Mwah. Thank you, guys.